Listener discretion is advised.
You did it. All right. You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Oh, golly gosh, jeez.
So apparently the other night at dinner, Zach said something that riled me up. We were talking about planning, and I was like, no, we need to get our flights or whatever. And my accent just kicked into high gear.
Went nuts.
And he was
when I'm nagging, it always comes out.
Yeah.
Always.
It was whoa.
There's a whole bag of recycling.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Kenyon.
And I'm Lucy, and I'm wearing ears because Kenyon and I are wearing the same fucking thing.
Nobody can tell us apart as is, and then we decided to wear the same sweatshirt.
These are ears for the purpose of distinction.
Differentiation.
And I'm Amanda. Everyone fucking knows who I am.
Yeah, she's got
I'm
the
a
blue
walking
hair
distinction.
and the changeable face.
Rubber face.
It's pretty much Botoxed in place right now.
Yeah, how does your lip feel?
Fine.
Yeah? You happy with it? You good?
Yeah.
It's mobile.
She cute.
Yeah, she is cute.
My forehead is completely immobilized.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of amazing.
It looks amazing. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. It looks
it
like
does.
porcelain.
It does look good.
Can you move
fan.
your eyebrows? Your brows? Not
Barely.
even
Only a little bit. Only a tiny amount.
Love it.
Old botchel face.
I used to be very judgmental about the Botox and
All in.
and now I'm like, I just need to schedule my appointment.
I am 34. It is preventative. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. Well, speaking of body image issues, we have a very special episode this week brought to you by our fan picker, Katie Nash. Nash Attack. And Katie has selected the topic of K-pop crimes.
That they have.
I'm
K-pop.
excited for this.
Yeah.
This was actually really fun.
I'm excited to learn a lot about K-pop because I don't know that much about it.
Buckle up, sweetheart.
Really excited. And it's an amazing world that so much of the planet is plugged into. And I
Korean
need to
culture is amazing.
It really is.
Mhm.
We've all been obsessed with Squid Game as we record this. So I feel like it kind of just is a magical tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, let's get right to the wine crime pairing for K-pop crimes.
I love it. Well, the recommended pairing today was soju, which is like a traditional Korean alcohol, similar to sake, I'd say.
It's like a rice wine.
It's like a rice wine, but in the Japanese sake world, they hate when you say that. It's like wine is wine, beer is beer, sake is sake. You wouldn't say beer is wheat wine. You know what I mean? So it's like its own standalone alcohol, but similar to sake, soju is a clear, colorless, distilled alcoholic beverage of Korean origin, which is obviously not similar to sake because that's Japanese. It is traditionally made by distilling alcohol from fermented grains. So one of the most popular fermented grains to use for making this alcoholic beverage, this distilled beverage, is rice. The quote, rice wine for distilled soju is usually fermented for about 15 days, and the distillation process involves boiling the filtered, mature rice wine. So they do make a rice wine initially, and then they further ferment it to end up with this very clear, it's almost like a liquor. I mean, it doesn't have quite as high of an alcohol content, but it has a much higher ABV than wine. So it usually is in the sweet spot of 15 to 20%, which you do not see in a lot of wines. And it can go as high as 35% ABV. So
it's sort of like a port
boozier.
in the flavor distillation process
Totally.
and that aging.
Yeah, it has. Well, it's fermented for another 15 days after reaching that rice wine product. And then the distillation process involves boiling the filtered mature rice wine in a sot or a cauldron, topped with soju gori, which is 2-storied distilling appliance with a pipe. So like the soju gori is a specific
Kind of like a filtered coffee or like a bunch of beakers.
Right.
It's like
so,
moonshine.
Yeah, I mean it's a distilled liquor with like very specific traditional what are they called? Like techniques and technologies to make it. So the name soju I think comes from the distilling machinery
Process.
Yeah, that they use. Sorry.
Just real quick, because I have a question. So, is the flavor a little more like mild, like sake would be, versus like baijiu, which is like Chinese
devil's
straight up?
semen.
It's milder. Baijiu is more like a liquor.
Yeah, baijiu
Like
is
a really
like
hard to
not
drink
tiny.
liquor.
Faint.
Everclear.
Yes. Soju is a little more delicate. It also has a little bit more of a sweetness to
Floral.
it. Right. No.
Okay,
It's not like
cool.
that.
I dig it.
Yep. And you drink it straight. You drink it chilled. Like you do drink it like a nice cold sake.
Can you drink it heated like you can with sake?
I didn't
love
see
hot
that.
sake.
I didn't see that. And typically the sake that's hot is like the cheap, crappy sake. So they heat it
Well,
up so you,
that's what I like.
can't taste how cheap it is.
I have a gutter palate and I don't care.
Bud heavies and hot sake. Let's fucking
Bud-
go.
Do it.
So in the 1920s, over 3,200 soju breweries existed throughout the Korean peninsula. So it's been like a very popular and established traditional beverage making industry in Korea.
Cool.
And you can get it at Total Wine,
Mhm.
which I did, but I did leave the bottle upstairs and I poured it in my kitchen and then brought my glass downstairs in like a fever dream. So nice pop, but
Yeah.
I'm sipping it right now. Nice,
There it
nice,
is.
nice tink.
Love
you can see
it.
how
Nice.
like
Love it,
it's
love it.
very clear.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, it's not sparkling. Like you can't, it's barely carbonated. Like it doesn't seem that carbonated. Like you don't see bubbles rising at all on it.
But it is carbonated.
It's not. I've like,
Oh,
as far as
okay.
I can tell, it's sort of like, it has some of that like effervescence of a wine, but not even. Like it doesn't seem even as carbonated as a white wine.
So it's magic.
It's really good.
Cool.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, that's
All right.
friggin' Thai style.
We're all drinking light spirits today.
We
light
are.
juices.
So, Lucy, what is our background and maybe psych for K-pop crimes?
No say.
Oh,
Got to get my
okay.
boat bones. Goat bones.
You go
Boat
bones.
The boat goes.
The boat goes.
Your boat goes.
So K-pop is short for Korean popular music and is a genre of music originating in South Korea, not to be confused with North Korea. This has
Very
nothing
different
to do
places.
with
North Korea has yet to hit the pop music scene, but
They haven't embraced
it could
it
happen.
yet.
They also are likely not listening to this podcast.
No.
No, but just to be clear, we're talking about Korea, but like
South
not
Korea.
North
Right.
Korea. So this music has a million different influences from R&B, gospel, jazz, hip hop, Caribbean dance hall,
Wow.
salsa, folk, country, electronic dance, and classical music, in addition to traditional Korean music. So this genre, as far as like influences, is all over the fucking place.
They're just like, whatever, we're going to take what works.
We're going to try it. Try it all.
Mhm.
You're gonna take what
Light it
works,
up like
basically.
dynamite.
Yes.
Oh.
It's smooth like butter.
Mm-hmm.
So this music is described as pop on crack,
Mm-hmm.
or it's very optimistic. It's fun. It's energetic. It's also really hard to describe if you've never heard it. So here is how NPR puts it.
Amazing. Can't
K-pop.
wait for this.
K-pop is, quote, a maximalist dreamland full of color, high concept performances and videos, a plethora of performers, and unrivaled choreography. If Top 10 in America wanted solo singers so soft every breath was caught on mic over a mid-tempo chorus, a la Billie Eilish, that was my editorializing.
Okay.
K-pop appeared to offer a genreless alternative. Constant stimulation, euphoria delivered in 8 to 10 melodies, and fantastical harmonies in a single track.
So, like, basically, if, like, Backstreet Boys merged with, like, the board game Candyland.
Every genre
Yes.
in existence.
That is a wonderful...
Thank you.
That's a wonderful way to put it.
Yeah, totally.
So while I was writing my notes, I was watching a Netflix episode of the show Explained, if you've ever heard of it. It's like short little 20-minute episodes of just various topics explained by professionals
I've never
and
heard
experts
of that,
and blah, blah, blah.
and it sounds amazing, and I'm going to start
so
watching that.
Good. So like I said, very short episodes. There's like billionaires and the female orgasm and cryptocurrency.
Well,
and,
I need that explained for sure.
right. And
The
one
orgasm.
The
one
orgasm.
of these, I know what you meant.
I
one
get
of these
Bitcoin.
episodes,
I don't get my bits.
one of these episodes is on K-pop. So
Cool.
a lot of my notes are from this episode. Like kind of like what Kenyon alluded to, there's quite a bit of overlap between how K-pop operates as a system and how boy bands in the U.S. evolved and sort of therefore devolved.
In the 90s,
like boy band
yeah.
boot camp
Yeah.
for K-pop is next level.
Well, like the origin of boy bands, it all evolved around like the mid 90s also.
And just the like curated personas and image.
The matching outfits.
Yeah.
We'll get to
I'm
all
sure
of
we
this.
will. Yeah.
So if you're interested in this episode of Explained, it aired in season 1. It's like the 5th or 6th episode. It's very
Cool.
interesting.
I'm totally going to check that out. That
Highly
series sounds
recommend
awesome.
the whole series. Yeah. Just short little snippets. It's very consumable. Okay. So back in 1992, a new band called Saoteji and Boys performed on a nationally broadcast TV show in South Korea. But the judges didn't think there was enough melody and gave them poor reviews, actually the lowest reviews of all of the people performing in that specific episode, because it was so drastically unfamiliar to the audience.
Oh, it was like
Okay.
too new.
Too poppy,
was-
not enough ballad.
Well, and I think that the ascension from what that culture was used to compared to what Saoteji brought was like, what the fuck?
Well, I know we've
can't-
mentioned this
I
a
can't
million
even
times.
enjoy this. Like,
But
it's
it's
so, yeah.
It's like the psychology behind why people with anxiety rewatch the same shows, like The Office, over and over again. It's like that predictability, and then people get really thrown off when something like totally new comes in. I mean, I know that my anxiety disorder is why I resist like most new trends until it's already been around long enough to just seep into everything around me, and then
And
I'm
then
like,
you're all about
okay,
it.
I'll get on TikTok.
Yeah. But I think
we
that's
all
also just
saw that one coming.
that's also just human nature, you know. That's not just like people with anxiety or whatever. It's just human nature. And when you have a country like Korea, which is so entrenched in tradition and like doing as your elders have done, it was a lot.
It was a big left turn.
Yeah,
It was
big change.
it was a leap. So hit songs before this performance were known as quote unquote healthy songs. So these were songs and styles essentially imposed by the government.
Ooh, okay.
It was
Interesting.
heavily censored. I would say not as censored as, for example, North Korea, obviously, or even
Right.
China, but they were designated by they were approved by the government on some level before they were put on like one of 3 sanctioned TV channels.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So these songs and styles, like I said, were imposed by the government. There were a lot of musical variety shows on TV, showing either patriotic music or what they called safe music. So it was extremely like G-rated.
Got it.
Okay. Like folk songs or like
Yeah, like probably folk songs would be more like patriotic, but like the safe music would be like, oh, I love this girl, but I can't touch her.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
Palatable, traditional,
very,
gentle
very
music.
1950s sock hop.
Yeah,
very
vibes.
conservative.
Conservative. That's a yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So Saoteji signaled a massive change. They wore really odd Western style clothing. They had lots of synchronized, energetic dancing. They were
Love.
dramatically different. And if you watch this performance of them on that particular show in 1992, I guess.
Can't wait.
It was 2. Then they performed. But it's like you can see the shock on the judges' faces, and you can also just like tell how fucking weird this whole thing was.
Right.
It's very bizarre.
I love it.
So Saoteji was described accurately, in my opinion, as the Korean New Kids on the Block.
Okay.
This group introduced American hip-hop fashion to Korea, so such as baggy clothing, skiing outfits, and like full-ass winter mittens.
Yeah, I love it. I love
Like,
it.
So like
They look like oven
like
mitts.
like Seth Green Can't Hardly Wait
Yeah.
Yeah.
ensemble.
Yeah, like 80s
Yeah.
ski suits
Yeah,
that
but, like-
became just leisure wear fashion.
I love it.
It was like
That's
barely
amazing.
leisure wear.
Well,
It was
right.
like very much sports wear. It was
Yeah,
like
I mean, it was
like,
barely leisure wear in the 80s either, but people fucking went for it.
I gotta
love it.
put some pictures of the mittens on the drive because they're like oven mitts.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
just doing all their routines with these big ass like fucking mittens.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God,
I
it's
love
so
it.
Society, like any place, any time, is so fucking bizarre. And we
I
will
love
look back
it.
on now and be like,
Oh.
what the fuck were we thinking?
We
I
went
mean-
back to middle parts.
I'll take off my cat ears now.
Yeah. You know. Yeah.
I was trying to differentiate, but you know what? It's what it's. Okay, so their mittens. Also, their songs were made up of controversial lyrics, disrespecting older generations, which was not super common.
Ooh.
So, like, lyrics like, and I'm paraphrasing, but like, our parents made these cages and now we're living in these cages, like, you know, stuff like that.
Total. A little
Yeah.
angsty. A little bit of
Uh-huh.
angst.
Angsty, a little angsty, a little
I
edgy.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these were perceived as going against traditional Korean customs. And as much as the adults didn't like it, the kids were like kind of into it.
Yeah.
Particularly like the fashion and that shocking cultural element. They were like, oh yeah, this
Teenagers
pisses off my
gonna
parents.
teen.
Yeah. Youth
Teen's gonna
rebellion
teen.
defies like all culture. It just always fucking happens.
It is. It is a form of development.
It's culture is what it is. So a record executive and producer at the time, Lee Soo-man, nailed it, saw this new K-pop style as the next big export, or as he called it, a cultural commodity. So he was like very much ahead of his time. This is in the
Yeah.
mid-90s.
Wow.
His entertainment company called SM Entertainment created the boy band HOT or Hot, and this was modeled after Saoteji. Oh God, I can never remember how to pronounce this. Saoteji. Saoteji. There are lots of similarities between these groups, including their unique style choices, like the fucking mittens.
Cute.
Choreography was also a really big thing. So basically, Soman he produced a formula for what was to be the future of K-pop groups. He there's a specific formula, and he was
Yeah.
at the advent of said formula.
He
Wow.
was the blimp master.
Right.
He was the blimp master.
Mhm.
So in the mid
Backstreet
1990s, Backstreet Blimps.
All
Oh, no.
right.
All right. In the mid 90s, Asia experienced a big economic drop, and South Korea decided that Lee So-man was right. They could use their music and arts culture as a global commodity. So the Korean government, which had formerly essentially censored modern pop K-pop music was now investing a full 1% of their national budget to promoting
I love it.
their music.
Whoa.
Their pop music.
I mean, the
Wild.
French government promotes French pop music and has like all kinds of rules for like how many what percentage of songs played on the radio in France have to be like
From
actually
France.
and
Yeah.
in French.
Yeah.
So like a lot of Canadian songs like slip in, but like as long as they're like in the French language, because they didn't want everything to be taken over by like English
Right.
pop music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
I
sense.
think that was
I like
super
it.
smart, and I feel like in the mid 90s especially, this was very like progressive thinking.
Mhm.
And also from a traditional Korean standpoint, where just a few years earlier they were actively censoring
Yeah,
this
it's a big
kind of
turnaround.
music, and now
Yeah.
they're just like, oh fuck yeah, we got to make some money.
This could
Yeah,
work.
it's a leap forward. Well,
Yeah. Mhm.
money moves the world.
Well, comparison to the leap forward might not be totally
Yeah.
appropriate. But...
Fuck it. Look at ABBA.
Yeah.
Was basically what they were saying.
Exactly.
Oh, we'll get to ABBA actually.
Is ABBA the original K-pop band?
We'll get to it, honey.
Sway pop.
Okay.
Sway pop.
Sway pop. Okay, so the Korean government is investing 1% of their national budget to promoting this K-pop music. One of the people in charge of one of the firms responsible for this was a former member of Saotaji and Boys, and they created much of the withstanding elements of today's K-pop music.
Nice.
So I guess at this time, like mid-late 90s, we weren't using the term K-pop. We're kind of just using like various terms of music originating in Korea, but it
Right.
wasn't its own genre yet.
Yeah, I mean, they started it. There was
Yeah.
a clear
There's a-
beginning.
It's a growth period.
Let's start
Cool.
at the very beginning.
So that ended up being like a $5 billion global industry, $1 billion global industry. And
Yeah.
actually probably more now, because that number
Yeah.
was from the Explained episode, which was released in 2018. So I'm sure it's more than that.
Way more. Now it's probably that much per year.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think it was annual, but yeah. Within Korea, K-pop groups are called idol groups. IDOL, not like
Okay.
idol.
Yeah.
An entertainment company scouts for individuals with singing and dancing talents and basically throws them together to form an extremely polished performance troupe. So what was that show on MTV that your mom liked?
Making the
Kenyon?
band.
Making the band.
When my mom had her hysterectomy and was looped on pain meds following
it,
her
baby.
surgery,
She loved making the
she
band.
loved
that.
making the band, and literally was brought to actual tears, like sobbing, was so upset because Ashley Angel was homesick for Hawaii. And she was like, he just wants his mom.
I
Oh,
loved Ashley Angel. I
God.
bought his CD,
Yeah.
his
my
solo,
mom.
his solo
And
album.
I remember, I think I was in like 8th grade, and I just was like, wow, I don't know.
What is happening?
I don't know what my mom is going through, but I'm going to go into
It's
my
a
room
lot.
It's something. It's
Yeah.
something.
with something else.
Amazing.
And then she healed and went off the pain meds and
healed.
didn't care about fucking what was that?
Ashley Angel.
O-Town.
O-Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know.
So this is basically an off-camera
Making the band.
making the band. Yeah.
I love it.
So this process can take years, and we've also discussed this process in our Motown Murders episode. So it's
yep.
like that factory system
Yeah.
of scouting people with talent, various talents,
Who also
fit-
are really attractive.
Yeah.
who also are attractive, fitting them together in a way that makes sense so that their chemistry vibes, and then here's a band. There you go.
Mhm. And sometimes that chemistry is short-lived, and we will get to it.
Oh my God, I was so excited.
Oh, dear.
So, in terms of how these bands are made up, there are typically at least 5 members, and they each play a specific role. So we have the leader, the singer, basically the only one who can like sing really well. The dance. Also the singer will come with like a sub singer, like the one who can sing the second best.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we have the dancer, also comes with the one who can like dance the second best. The rapper, the youngest one, which in Korea is called the maknae, and the oldest one, which is called the matnae. The center, which is always the one in the middle,
Okay.
which is basically the Amanda, the one with the weird hair.
Yep.
The visual, so like the most attractive one, the Kenyan, and the all rounders, plural, maybe the ones who can like kind of do it all. So it's just very bizarre. Just like
So there's some overlap in
fill
the
a
roles.
role.
Oh,
because
there's
it's
totally
yeah.
overlap.
Yeah.
There's totally overlap, but like in general, there has to be at least one to fulfill each or
Right.
most of these roles, you know.
Whereas
Right.
like for boy bands, the roles are a little bit different. There's like
The smoke show.
yeah, like the jock,
The goofy
heartthrob,
one.
Yeah.
exactly. The boy next door. Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, except like these are a little bit more specific. And I also don't think that there's much of an illusion between like K-pop fans and who these K-pop stars sort of like represent. Like I think they understand that these guys or girls are fulfilling specific roles. That doesn't really diminish the magic.
Well,
you know
usually
what I mean?
fans are way more like with it than the industry will give them credit for. You know?
I think so. Yeah.
Like they know what they're consuming.
Yeah. Also, these members have to be very clean, meaning they shouldn't have any scandals in their past.
We'll get to that.
There's no like trashing hotel rooms.
No. And also in terms of their music, like lyrics and stuff, love is the biggest topic. So they are never or should be never allowed, you know, actually allowed to disclose a romantic relationship publicly. Because there's especially with the boy bands, they have to be publicly available to any of their fans. Like they have a chance with them.
Right. Which totally worked for 6th grade me and Nick Carter.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And Otao.
Was
That
Nick
was-
Carter the get? Was it?
That was
He's
back
the
in
Justin Timberlake of the Backstreet Boys.
Right.
He was
Or
the
so
gay
they
one?
thought. No. That's Lance Bass.
He was the blonde
Lance
lead
Bass.
one.
Okay. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, congratulations to Lance Bass and his partner. They just
Yes.
welcomed their first
They
baby.
had twins.
Babies. Yeah, you're right. Twins. Fraternal boy-girl twins. Thank you, TikTok. It's the only reason I know that.
Oh.
Yeah. Good job.
Good for you, Lance.
We did it.
We did it.
We
You're
did
welcome,
it.
Lance.
My dreams are crushed, but congrats or whatever. Okay. So most K-pop bands nowadays are acronyms, so they don't need to be translated between different languages, which is another
Sure.
component of their globalization strategy.
Oh.
So if you notice, so we started with, I have to scroll back up to my how to pronounce this because I'm a horrible person. Scroll back up to the Seotaiji group, which is spelled Seotaiji, which is the full name of one of their members.
Yep.
So Seotaiji, it's not.
It's
It
their
doesn't.
name.
It doesn't roll off the tongue for a lot of people who aren't familiar with Korean names.
Uh-huh.
So now you have bands like BTS that really
Bind,
doesn't.
torture, sing. I assume.
How long have you been sitting on?
Since. Okay, actually. I appreciate the ask because
I'm so glad you asked.
I'm so glad you asked.
you asked.
Last night, Bill and I took a soak in the hot tub outside, and then I took a shower. And I was like, oh my God, I really need to work on my notes. And a lot of working on my notes is just shower thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And in the shower, I audibly laughed to myself at Bind, Torture, Sing. And then I was like, I got to remember to say that tomorrow.
I gotta use that's gold.
I'm so glad you said that.
I'm so glad you asked.
So good. That was good. That was fucking good.
It's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid.
So stupid, but I love
I
it.
know. I love it too.
Okay, so Bind, Torture, Sing is one example.
Yeah.
EXO, or I think it's pronounced EXO, just in layman's terms.
XOXO, the wine and crime gals.
Got it.
EXO
Makes
have
sense.
two. Actually, this might apply. Have two members specifically designated to sing in Mandarin rather than Korean. So
Amazing.
Well, you know what?
XOXO.
You're gonna have a whole nother market for your music, and I love it.
Let's
we
do
will
it.
be releasing the Mandarin versions of this podcast
Yes.
in 2022. So
That would be
don't even worry.
fucking amazing. I'd be so happy.
I would escape to South America with no forwarding address. Okay. So EXO, they have two members designated to sing in Mandarin rather than Korean. So they have two different versions of all of their songs.
Love it.
Which are
Wow.
EXO-M Mandarin or EXO-K Korean.
But you know what?
Amazing.
It is honestly just like fucking Justin Bieber and fucking Despacito.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
I mean, tons of
these are not
American.
unique.
Yeah.
These are not
No,
unique concepts.
Tons of
at
American
all.
artists do Spanish language albums.
Yeah.
Tons of them do it.
Yep.
Yep. And vice versa. Hello, Selena.
Yep. Oh,
Selena.
yeah. Well, Selena's, as we know
Also,
from that episode,
Hips don't lie.
Shakira. Selena was
Shakira.
not a
She didn't speak
raised
Spanish.
Spanish speaker.
No.
Really?
No.
No.
She learned it to tap into the Spanish market.
And she didn't even really speak it. She grew up speaking English.
Yeah.
She,
I
didn't know that.
You know, she
Yep. Well, you
I'm
did
sure
know
she-
that because we definitely talked about it. But
she was
on
like
that
more
episode.
conversational than fucking any of us are in
Yeah.
Spanish. But like she learned her early Spanish songs from her first Spanish album, just like phonetically.
Yep.
Well, that is how a lot of people learn a second language,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I just think
Brilliant.
this is interesting, like all this crossover linguistically, and it's not just for Asian languages. They do it in English and you know,
all
well,
over. It's
most
a band-
Super
English,
common.
Do you guys
Mhm.
remember the band Phoenix?
Yeah.
Their first album or first like big album that hit was entirely in English, but they're French and
Yeah.
like their English is like really shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Like all
Oh
of their
my God, I
lyrics
forgot,
were like
yeah.
really kind of weird and off because they were singing in a language that they did not understand.
I remember that now.
Mhm.
Okay, so a lot, if not most, of these K-pop songs are also written by composers in the U.S. and Sweden.
Yes.
Bringing along with them quite a lot of potential for genre mashup. So here's my ABBA example. This example being two Swedish composers writing a song originally for a U.S. group to be performed in English that was eventually performed by K-pop group Red Velvet with a melodic throwback to ABBA.
Yes.
So basically, like, you know, this in Dancing Queen, it's like, and the lights are low. So that exact same callback, like a melodic callback, happens in this Red Velvet song,
which is probably
that happened to be
new.
written by the Swedish guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
I
I
love it.
bet ABBA was not popular in Korea at the fucking time.
Yeah, so in Korean culture, that
So
was
it's
probably
brand
pretty
fucking new.
like disco.
Well,
It's
I
like
mean,
how Gen Z is like getting all these kind of callbacks to 90s hip hop songs and they think they invented them.
Even if
Or
it's just a
wide leg jeans.
even if it's just a generational thing, like kids who are listening to Red Velvet have not typically listened to ABBA. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about your like geographical
It's new to
location. It's new to them, whatever.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
But sometimes the mashing. Oh, what?
I was going to say the number of times that Zach will find out that a riff or something or a sample from one of his favorite like rap songs is actually like a classic song or like
Motown.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like
Ghetto
a rock,
Superstar.
yeah, like exactly like anything like that. He's always just like so fucking shocked because I was always subjected to like my
The
mom's-
originals.
Yeah, exactly. Like my mom's music, quote unquote oldies, like anything from like the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever. And he just wasn't, you know, like he just like only listened to hip hop. And so he's always just shocked. And I'm like, oh, that's
Everything is derivative. Everything.
everything.
We are
Everything.
too old and the world is too old for any new ideas.
Yep.
Enjoy that and cry yourself to sleep.
Yep.
That
Everything
said,
is dust.
It's
Also,
always
soju
worth it.
is strong and I am already drunk.
That said, it's always worth it to go back and hear the originals because they're usually just as good, if not better,
Oh
than
my
whatever they
God.
ripped off
Actually,
of.
fuck-
Islands in the
fire.
stream, baby.
Ah, that is what you are.
Oh,
Yes, that is what you are.
I thought.
Coming from afar.
Okay, so moving on. Sometimes the mashing.
Ow.
If you guys couldn't tell,
Are you okay?
It was my headphones.
We're in episode 2, by the way. We're all a little bit turned.
But I scared that the owl was a
we
fear
recorded
reaction.
a thing before this thing, and we're doing great.
You guys, we're professional.
It's totally fine.
It's basically like a drunk dive, but an actual episode. If you think this is funny,
Join
you
our
should really join our
Patreon.
Patreon.
You can see how fucking red my face is. Okay. Let me just get through this so we can take a pee break.
Never,
Push through.
Hold it in.
Okay.
It makes you drunker when you hold your pee.
Nope. Sometimes the mashing can be a lot. And there is one song by a K-pop group called Girls' Generation that mixes pop, hip-hop, EDM, trap, and like 5 other genres into
That's
one
a
song.
lot.
And
That
it
is
It
a
comes off,
lot.
I listened to it, it comes off as extremely manic for the uninitiated. So I wouldn't recommend starting with that song, but it exists.
Trap might be tough.
Honey, it's
I don't know.
It's a very dynamic song.
Yeah.
I
So,
love it. I'm ready.
Production value wise, if you've ever seen like a K-pop video, they're typically very mesmerizing, very colorful. There's lots of choreographed dance moves, as we've discussed. The storylines don't make any sense, but that's okay because they're like ascendant. They're like beyond storylines.
Mm-hmm.
These visually appealing videos help to drive virality on the internet, and we will get to it because the visual component is a very important part to how this spreads around the globe.
Fucking MTV, man.
Mm-hmm.
Not even MTV, fucking TikTok, Twitter, all that
Well,
stuff.
I know, but you
music, television, music,
You know what
video,
I'm
vision.
saying.
MTV hasn't been
Four.
music
I
oriented
get it,
in a
Kenyon.
very long time. I
VH1.
get what you mean.
Pop up video.
It's super not relevant anymore. I'm so
VHS.
sorry. So 2011 was the first time K-pop groups performed en masse outside of Korea, and it was a huge success. So these touring bands such as Super Junior, ever heard of it?
sorry.
That's like the one.
It was popular the year we were in China, and we only knew about it because of proximity.
And the only lyrics I know are sorry.
And another band called 2NE1, numerical 2NE1.
Oh, amazing that they came up with that.
Wait. I'm looking at
2NE1.
K-popify your name. Generator. Let's see. What do we got?
Prove that the efforts towards global consumption were paying off. Like, the world loved this shit.
Mm-hmm.
In 2012, PSI, or Psy, released Gangnam Style. Ever heard of it?
Oh my fucking God.
It absolutely
song.
exploded, and like literally nobody, including PSY, knew why.
It just hit, man.
And
It just did.
So here's a little bit about I'm saying PSY and also Psy because he pronounces it two different ways. Like so his name is Park Jae-sung.
You know
Gangnam
Gangnam
It's just
Style.
for me.
Gangnam
I know.
Style.
I just want to
This
hear
one.
it.
It's this one.
I know what
Oh,
song
yeah.
it is.
But
I want to listen to it.
He was he made his name as both like an acronym and also as the start for the word psychotic. So like that's kind of what he.
Mm-hmm.
But his name is Park Jae-sung, also known as a controversial and satirical hip hop artist. And just for context, Gangnam is like a super bougie part of Seoul, South Korea. And this is a quote from Wikipedia. In July 2012, Psy released his sixth studio recording, which was Psy, PSY, 6 Part 1, which contained the single Gangnam Style, a lighthearted dance song that mocked the pretensions of people wishing to be associated with that particular area of Seoul.
It
So basically-
still slaps.
It's so good.
Oh, it
It's
slaps.
so good.
Yeah.
I will never forget. Like, it came out. I was in grad school, and like all the like Korean kids in my grad school, like really repped it and loved it and whatever. And then at our like prom for grad school, they like it came on because it was like a hit song, and they all
And it
just like
exploded.
oh, it was crazy. They just lost it. Everyone
they
lost
lose
it. Everyone, we all were just like, oh,
I want
there
to
was,
walk
like,
down the aisle to this.
That would be a throwback.
It was so fun. There was like a huge circle of all of us kid, and then like the Korean kids in the center just like rocking out. It was so
Who's
fun.
doing the dance?
Oh, yeah. So the video for the single featured a deadpan CSY,
It's
PSY
so good. There's so many horses in this video.
performing a distinctive comic horse riding dance at various incongruously
Sexy
unstylish
lady.
locations, including a horse stable and a parking garage. And this music video has over 1 billion views on YouTube.
This is incredible. I haven't watched
Yeah.
it in so long.
Mhm.
Would you mind finishing it like later at a
It's
different
been
point
almost
later?
a decade.
Amanda.
You can't hear it.
Okay,
can
as
see
we
you.
know from the boy band industry in the US, this factory style of music making can get out of hand really quickly. What was the guy, the Backstreet Boys, Lou, what's his name?
Oh, yeah, the blimp guy.
Yeah,
Bad guy.
What the fuck
You
is his
covered
name?
him, Kenyon.
Yeah, it's like Lou.
It's not Ferrigno.
I was just going to say Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Pearlman.
Pearlman.
Yeah, Lou Pearlman.
Mm-hmm.
So now that K-pop had the eyes of the world on it, many publications began scrutinizing the way in which these labels would handle their talent. So once again, the Korean government got involved, but this time they passed laws specifically about how agencies can treat the artists making super long or super severe contracts illegal.
That's
So they
good.
made an anti-Lou Pearlman legislation.
Well, good. Yeah, never
Yeah,
sign
protect-
a contract that's more than like 2 years.
Yeah.
Never. Oh
Like,
my
you
god.
just-
You can
you
get
just
through
don't
anything
know.
in 2 years, but
Yeah,
I mean, 2 years ago, we were on tour. That was yesterday.
right.
Yeah.
Like you just longer than 2 years. Don't do it.
A lot
Yeah.
can
Do it.
change.
it's a lot. So this was maybe my favorite part that this show Unexplained made. And this is that was the very friction between K-pop stars and these factory roots that they came from is our quote so K. They're so K. meaning that it was highlighting this optimistic fairy tale view of if you work hard enough, if you're patient enough, if you endure enough, you will eventually achieve your dreams.
No.
This is a very Korean perspective.
Yeah,
but
there's a
also
If
difference
my brow
between-
could furrow, it would be furrowed right now. If it were capable.
Well, you can't furrow at something that has like traditional,
No,
like
no, no, no,
historic.
no.
You know,
Sure.
this is their traditional sort of worldview. So I get it, but
I
also
guess that
the
furrow is
reason
the wrong
why
term. If I could express curiosity
The
and
reason-
confusion, I would do it.
yes,
But I can't.
this friction between not wanting to have this like almost enslavement type contractual obligations like the Backstreet
feudal-
Boys had,
Right.
you know, versus what these K-pop stars are having. There is still that sort of friction. There is this sort of like fairy tale optimistic worldview. So that's kind of what they're saying when they say something is so okay. Is like,
Right.
oh,
Okay.
you're really leaning into this. You're really believing in like that your dreams will come true someday.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
That
I mean,
does make sense.
yeah.
Okay.
But that's what the term so-K. It's so-K. Okay, so now let's get to BTS, baby.
Yes. Spine torture,
Torture
sing.
sing.
Yes, Spine Torture Sing, baby. They are currently one of the most popular bands on the fucking planet of Earth, and they have broken just about every music record in the US, where previously K-pop bands have had a very hard time finding a consistent audience. Like Americans in general have not been very receptive to non-English speaking or non-US based bands.
I feel like it's literally within like the last like 7 years that Americans have even been like willing to venture outside of like English or
largely
American
thanks
music.
to K-pop.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Woo!
Mhm. Yeah. Social presence has made a major difference, a la TikTok. We'll get to it. Their audience, which is basically native to the internet, like Gen Zers.
Right.
Honestly, millennials were essentially native to the internet.
Listen,
Not
we
quite,
made the
but-
internet.
I mean, Al Gore made the
anyone
internet, but-
younger than us elder
Al Gore.
millennials
Yeah.
plus
So,
Al Gore.
Listen, Al Gore made the internet, but
Al Gore can
Fucking
really tap
prescient
in.
being Al Gore.
They can really tap in or feel like they're tapping into their individual personalities and chemistry as a group. So they're like feeling this vibe that is very unique to the internet native generations.
Well,
That
it's a
makes
great
sense.
feeling to like look at your idols in a row and be like, I identify with number 4.
right.
And I know this because I follow them on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and blah, 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 blah. I feel like I have a personal insight into their personal lives. I know them personally.
Even though it's completely curated. Yes.
It is, but like that doesn't matter to somebody who feels those things, you know?
True.
So BTS also has edgier lyrics than previous K-pop bands, so that's more appealing to newer generations. And again, here's a quote from NPR. K-pop fans, well, okay, I should say this isn't about BTS itself, but it's about just like newer K-pop culture. K-pop fans themselves have dominated headlines in and outside of the pop culture arena for their recent political successes, using their digital native understanding to overwhelm white supremacist hashtags, crashing former President Trump's Tulsa rally attendance numbers,
Yes.
and police apps meant to solicit information about Black Lives Matter protesters.
I've seen this.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Pressuring their idols
yes.
to take a stance and contributing millions in donations. So just
Listen.
because of, I mean,
K-pop fans are gonna save the fucking world.
I think so. Like this
Instead of like
K-pop-
the Bay Hive, it's the K Hive, man. It's the
K-Hive,
best.
man.
Why not both?
Yeah, the
Let's do
K-Base.
it.
So here are my final thoughts about K-pop. The fact that to American audiences, K-pop emerged from the internet and immediately took over platforms like TikTok where people streamed and shared all of it. that makes K-pop, at least in the US, a novel phenomenon when it comes to especially music. K-pop represents cultural globalism. There are no borders, geopolitically or genre-wise. They are multilingual and multi-generational, and I really think that they're going to change. It sounds so cheesy to say that they're going to change the face of music. Like, that's a very wide statement. But I really think
they already have.
Social media, music, pop culture phenomena, all that stuff is all becoming wrapped into one in a way that it hasn't been before. So I'm kind of into K-pop now.
Big
for
fan.
more than just the music. The music's fun, but also just like this whole energetic vibe of newness and progression is just it's really cool. So
Nice.
that's my segment, and I'm kind of
love
into
it.
K-pop now.
So good.
Love it. Well done.
Thanks.
Are we ready for my case?
No.
Maybe.
Bugs.
Probably not.
All right. The K-pop group # or #ARP
Pound sign.
pronounced sharp.
No.
They're from 1990.
Chart.
They're from 1998, so it was £sign. It was
Wow.
not yet #.
It was bound.
Amaze.
Going down to Pound Town.
Pound town.
So Sharp was a South Korean pop group that was formed in 1998. The founding member of the group was a woman named Seo Ji-young, who came from a wealthy and influential music industry family. So she had connections.
Okay.
And that was kind of how she was able to form this group.
Got it. It's all about who you know.
It really is. So the original lineup consisted of her, Seo Ji-young, along with another woman named Lee Ji-hae, who won her spot by beating out 1,000 others in an audition process.
1,000?
Known as the Squid Game.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
fucking, yeah. Twice as
that's so-
competitive as Squid Game.
God.
And 3 men named Jung Suk-hyun and John Kim and Oh Hee-jung. The band's co-ed lineup was really unique at the time and even still today because the Korean pop music scene was mostly dominated by single gender groups, and this was 2 women and 3 men.
I actually only ever saw just girl groups or boy
Same.
groups in
Right.
my
So
research.
So progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting and it does kind of factor in.
Okay.
So in the first 3 years of their existence, Sharp released 3 hit albums in a row. So they are fucking crushing it. In this time, there was turnover of the male members of the group. So John and Hee-jung left and they were replaced. But it didn't really matter because it was always 2 girls, 3 guys. Couple guys left and were replaced. Whatever, the 2 girls remained. So the 2 girls, Ji-young and Ji-hae. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm doing my best.
We're trying our best.
Yeah, we're trying our best.
So in 2001, the band released their 4th album and their biggest one so far, titled Forever, like forever, Feel So Good.
Love it. Okay.
Very, very K-pop album title.
That's so okay.
It is so okay. So the album's first hit single, Sweetie, which I definitely read as sweaty.
Uh-huh.
Been
But
there.
But it's
Am
not.
there.
Uh-huh.
It's Sweetie with a Y, like Sweetie Bird, was a huge hit and topped the Korean pop charts for 2 weeks.
Nailed it.
According to one source, quote, driven by the vocals of Seo Ji-young and Lee Ji-hae, the song was bright, energetic, and super cute. It was unavoidable as it swept across the K-pop charts. So they've had 3 hit albums. Their 4th album comes out. They have a chart topper on the 4th album. Everything's looking good. Then, in October of 2002, the band was scheduled to perform on a radio show called Music Bank. However, on the way to the scheduled performance, Lee Ji-hae and So Ji-young were, quote, involved in a physical altercation in an elevator.
Like Beyonce and Solange.
Well, no, like Solange
we'll never
and
know
Jay-Z,
the details.
wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, we'll never know.
We'll never know.
I mean,
And
we know
I
who
need
was
to
who.
know.
need to know.
Honestly, that's going to be the two things I'm going to die without knowing are the confirmation on who killed Jean-Benet Ramsey and the deets of that conversation between Solange and Jay-Z in that elevator. And for these reasons, I have a hard time existing as a human.
I think
We
I'll die.
know who killed Jean Benet.
I'll
We do
die
know.
with a lot of questions, but they'll never be.
they will never burn as hot as either of those.
I honestly think the Solange Jay-Z elevator thing burns much hotter than John Benet because
I feel more confident about my Jean-Benet speculation than I do about the Solange Jay-Z
I know. I
conversation.
just want to know, like,
I want to know
even-
the backstory.
I know. I don't want broad strokes. I want every
Deets.
fucking detail.
I want a recording.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway,
I
what
want
episode
recording.
is this?
I want a testimony from all
I want
responsible
I want a
parties.
deposition.
All
interviews.
three
Yeah.
parties.
Mhm.
Separate.
I want
Yeah.
a season of
Interviews.
American Crime Story.
I know.
Oh, goodbye.
I
Are we all
agree.
watching the current season?
Yes.
Impeachment.
Yes.
Kenyon
Don't
has
know
a
what
blank
you're
look.
saying.
Oh my
You're
god.
not
I
watching
never-
American Crime Story Impeachment?
I never know what you're talking about.
No, we'll take this off air. There's too much. There's too fucking
Where
much.
do you find the time?
I never
when
know
we're writing
what
notes
you're
for these episodes?
talking about.
I don't. When I don't have any episodes of Vanderpump Rules or Real Housewives or Below Deck to watch, I watch American Crime Story. And right now it's about the Bill Clinton impeachment, Monica Lewinsky thing.
I felt
It's
really
so
good
good.
about myself that I was caught up on Squid Game.
no.
No.
Okay.
No.
Is that the one where it's like the witches?
No.
Okay,
we're
it's
taking
the same,
this off
It's
air.
the same creator as American Horror Story. I'm
We're
going to
ta-
give you that.
I'm-
It is the
I'm
same
not
creator, but this
giving
is
her
a
that.
real story
There's no reason she would
about
have
the
known that.
Clinton impeachment. Well, American blank story. There's a way she'd know that. Kenyon, I'm Team Kenyon on that one tiny thing.
I'm
Enjoy
not.
it.
I'm
Enjoy it.
not.
I'm not.
Look at her lips.
All right. So,
I'll give you a syllabus for your homework for the next
Please?
semester.
please fucking do. Where do you? I don't know
Can
how
you
you
just
find
cancel
the time.
our entire itinerary except the ghost
I
tour
feel
for
like
this
I'm
weekend
always
so we
doing
can just
laundry.
get caught up on TV?
I feel like maybe I do more laundry than most people.
See, I
You
never
gotta-
do laundry, so that's definitely where I find my TV
Okay.
time.
Here's my trick. You get an iPad so you can so you can watch it while you're hand washing your dishes, while you're doing your laundry, while
We
you're
have
folding your clothes.
dishwashers.
If it's a portable television.
okay.
Okay, if you wash every single dish that you have in a dishwasher,
Every
you're in the
dish.
wong.
Pots and pans don't go in the dishwasher.
I don't
Certain
fucking wash
knives
shit.
don't
I have
go
a
in the-
husband for that.
Oh
So anyway.
my god. Okay, we're on three very different levels. My point is, get an iPad, subscribe to Sling TV. You're fine.
We
Okay.
have all the logins you need.
So they're involved in a physical altercation
Oh, right.
in an
K-pop.
elevator.
Solange. Right, Solange. Okay.
The exact start of the fight has been a matter of some debate, but it devolved into slapping and hair pulling by the two women / co members of this group.
But they're like best friends, I assume. Oh.
They are
Seems like not.
co-workers.
So
They have a loose working relationship.
Yeah.
They had the factory situation.
It's
They
not
are
a wine and crime gal
Paul
situation.
And oats.
Oh,
They weren't childhood friends.
No. Yeah, exactly. So
Holland Oates is the
They
worst example
hate
of a
each
working
other.
relationship.
I know.
No.
That's my point.
You made a really good point.
Thank
I'm
you.
really-
How
I'm
could
really proud of
one
you.
person, Holland Oates, hate himself so much?
So the exact start
Somehow
of the
I
fight
manage.
has been a matter of some debate. But
It
the band's managers separated the two. Like when the elevator got to the next floor, whatever, they were separated.
Like us at the nail salon.
That was because we were too friendly.
Was that Lucy's wedding?
I don't know.
It was the day before my wedding is when
Like,
we were
we're
separated.
here as a wedding party. And they were
They
like,
were like,
no.
5 of us were separated. Courtney, Blortney, and Scott were there too.
Courtney and Blot.
Blortney and Blot were also
and my
there. We
nails
all
were
separated.
bright or traffic cone
They
orange.
were amazing.
They were really
The amount of
orange.
times we have been separated by professionals.
But that's because we get along too well. This is different.
We're too much.
We have never devolved into
Definitely
slapping or
not.
hair pulling. I
You're
mean,
right.
it could
Yes.
happen, but like it hasn't yet.
I
So
would
So
never
if I
pull
promise
Amanda's hair.
I
It would
was gonna say,
just come out.
if I promise not to pull any of your hair, will you please not pull my hair? It's very expensive. I don't have a lot of boundaries, but that's the one. Please.
no promises. So anyway, you can pull my hair all day. I got hair to
You
spare.
have such an abundance of hair.
I don't
It's
have
not
a lot
fair.
of hair. No.
Lucy and I don't have much
I
to
have
work
this
with.
much hair.
Now I know your weaknesses. Lucy,
Ugh.
it takes Lucy. This could be the longest episode ever. It takes Lucy like 4 seconds to blow dry her hair.
It's so endearing. I love it. I love your hair.
It takes me less than 40 seconds. I time it.
I love your hair.
Around 30 seconds.
It takes
Your
me like
sweet hair.
20 minutes. Okay, anyway. So anyway.
That's why you don't watch TV. You don't have fucking time,
I
bitch.
don't have fucking
true.
time. Oh, I blow dry my hair like once every 2 weeks. It's
Okay,
a
you know
whole
what?
thing.
Your life is really fucking hard. I
Thank
haven't
you.
seen it until now.
Thank you.
I have not seen or acknowledged
Thank
your
you,
struggle. I'm seeing it now.
So
And I'm
anyway.
really sorry.
So the band's manager separated the two women, but Lee was unable to cool off enough to go through with the planned performance. So she was like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm not performing. The
Can
rest
you
of y'all.
imagine? Can you imagine if every episode we had to record live and if we were just over each other, we couldn't say, fuck it, we're recording tomorrow? Because I don't want to ruin the illusion
Sometimes
for people, but we've had
Sometimes we've had, I don't want to fucking record with you two today.
can't do it.
I'm not
I
going to
love
say it
you.
hasn't happened.
I love you as much as I hate you, and I love you a lot.
But we always come
happened.
back.
We do.
Listen,
Right?
we are amazing. Yes, we're here right now having this conversation.
Okay, good.
Lucy's a Cancer. You can't fuck with her like that.
I'm sorry.
We're all good.
I don't feel good about this.
It's
No,
all
we're
now.
great.
It's all
I'm acknowledging their struggle. How I can't, if we did this show live, I think we'd all be dead.
It's too much for me to think about. Let's move on.
We're all good. Everybody's getting along. We're all good. Okay, so Ji Young and a male group member who went by the name Chris. just Chris. Like Cher.
I love it.
Were the only ones to perform that day.
Yikes.
There's supposed to
Wait,
be
do you think
five.
anyone noticed?
2 out of 5.
Do you think
out of
anyone
five.
noticed?
Oh, no.
So this fight in the elevator and subsequent performance without one of the group's major stars, so Ji-hye, was the beginning of the end for Sharp.
For Shart.
No shit.
No Shart.
They really sharded themselves.
They sharped the bed.
You Shart the bed.
So within a week, the band's management company, World Music Entertainment, announced that the group was permanently disbanding. And I know, but no.
The same representation.
Oh,
Marcus?
Marcus?
I'm texting Marcus right now.
Text Marissa.
Did I tell you guys that I texted Marcus after I watched
Accidentally?
Pig and was like, what
Pig?
the fuck? Because he represents Nick Cage.
Okay, I loved Pig, first
It's
of
so
all.
good.
It's so good. I mean, it's
If
bad,
you don't love Pig,
but
you
it's
are
good.
soulless.
Go watch Truffle Hunters, the documentary. It's so good. Okay.
My God.
So
Also, if your grudge with Nick Cage's relationship is with Pig, you haven't seen a lot of recent Nick Cage movies.
I haven't. I've only seen like really good Nick Cage and then Gone in 60 Seconds
Go
and
watch-
then Pig.
Gotta
Go
say,
watch-
Pig is the best Nick Cage movie in the
It's
last
pretty fucking
decade.
good. But you gotta watch the Nick Cage 9/11 movie.
No, I don't.
Oh,
I don't.
No.
It's bad. It's
No.
bad.
Okay.
Also, what with the 20th anniversary as of recent, I'm feeling like it's too soon.
It is
Like
too soon.
all of these docs are coming back to me. I'm just like, oh my God, this
It is too
really
soon.
did.
However,
this ruined our
the woman
everything.
who wasn't there on Amazon Prime,
Unreal.
Holy shit, that's good. Thank you to Alvin from Affirmative
Unfucking-
Murder for that
okay.
recommendation.
Anyway.
All right.
Let's
9/11.
wrap this up so we can go watch TV.
So, salacious details began to emerge about Soji Young's cruelty to the other female members of the group that she had created. So remember, she is the one with like the family in the industry. She started the group. She is supposed to be the lead.
Yeah.
She's kind of a diva.
She's being mean to everyone.
Mm-hmm. So according to interviews with Lee Ji-hye after the incident, the fight in the elevator had started when Soji Young had called her a, quote, useless bitch.
Ooh. Ooh. Ow.
Prompting,
Ow.
prompting her, which is like maybe
Ooh.
the best and most efficient insult ever.
Useless bitch.
Isn't that efficient?
It cuts me deep, and no one said it to me.
Dives deep.
Yeah.
I'm texting Bill right now to put this on my list of,
useless
as
bitch.
Aziz Ansari would say, oh no nos.
Oh no.
This is on my list of oh no nos.
I kind of love it.
You can't call me a useless bitch.
No.
No, none of us are allowed to call each other a
No.
useless bitch. But
No.
it's an
No.
excellent slur.
But
Yeah.
I'm keeping it in the back pocket in case
It's
anyone
going
gets on ahead.
Back here. I've got it
The
locked
ace
away.
in the hole.
Prompting her to respond physically in the elevator. She also claimed that the day after the elevator fight, Soji Young's mother had tracked her down and verbally and physically attacked her, attempting to rip her hair out.
What's with the hair pulling? I don't like that.
Mhm. She stated in a tearful interview, quote, when I first got hit, I didn't know who it was, but when I turned around, it was Ji Young's mom.
That would be a shock.
Even
I
though
turn
we-
around, it's Elizabeth.
Yeah, watch out. Yeah, I wouldn't
She
fuck
could
with
kill.
any of our moms.
Never.
No.
No.
Never fuck with my mom before either of yours.
Yeah.
Terrifying. They're all terrifying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The women who made us are the scariest women
They
in the
could all
world.
cut the fuck out of you.
Yeah. So finishing Ji-hye's quote, even though we did get into an argument, how can her mom hit me?
Don't hurt my child.
Yeah. My
or
child's in
don't
there.
let me hear that you might have hurt my child.
So Ji Young disputed this version of events, stating that Ji-hi had attacked her unprovoked in the elevator and that her mother did not become involved in the dispute. But like, yeah, right. However, when others who were familiar with the relationship between the two women began speaking publicly, it became clear that Ji Young's version of events had very little support. So she's fucking lying. In fact, it seemed that she had spent years bullying Ji-hi and enlisting her boyfriend and parents into doing so as well. So she started the group. She thought she could control everybody in the group. She
enlisted her parents in this.
The bullying in like K-pop
it's bad.
is
It's so not
it's a
K.
lot.
It's not K.
My
It's
case
not
is about
K.
bullying.
Well, there you go. So, Ji Young had tried on multiple occasions to get Ji-hi kicked out of the band, but the record label had stepped in, citing the band's success and the audience's fondness for Ji-hi. And that just enraged Ji Young even more because, like, it was her idea from the beginning and, like, she's supposed to be the star and, like, she felt like this other bitch was, like, you know, encroaching on her territory and the whole
This
thing.
useless bitch.
Right. Yep. So the bullying scandal was a massive story with both tabloid media and fans speculating about the potential causes for Ji Young's hatred of Ji-hi. The consensus seemed to be that Ji Young was jealous of Ji-hi's ability to hit the high notes, and like that's what the group had become known for, was like these high note songs.
I hope
Amanda,
you guys
who
don't
was
hate
inquired
me.
and like see it.
Don't hate me that
impressive.
much.
It's impressive. I can't hit them. I can't hit them.
You're the alto. I'm the soprano.
Mezzo alto.
I'm the fucking
I can hit the
baritone.
low notes. Yeah, I am a baritone.
I'm a baritone.
And for the fact that
Where'd she go?
GI? Gastrointestinal?
G-high.
Oh,
G-high.
I thought you said
G-high.
GI.
G-I. IBS. G-I. It's your case.
Giardia.
Erica Giardi. She's bankrupt.
Oh
She's
my god!
Definitely lying.
Oh, she's definitely lying.
She's definitely lying.
Okay, so anyway. So Ji Young is jealous of Ji-hi's ability to hit the GIs. And as the band became more successful, Ji-hi became known as the stronger singer and was given more of the lead vocal part. So, according to some
I feel like
rumors,
deeply connected to this rivalry.
I know. Amanda is Ji Young.
Hashtag she was robbed.
So, according to some rumors, Ji Young had originally wanted to simply recruit her friends to her band, not to actually hold auditions to find strong singers because she didn't want the competition.
This is why. Okay, so here's my theory about my own lived experience. This podcast, Kenyon didn't start this podcast. I did.
A what?
This is I know that this is the theory, not the reality. And this was just a ploy
what?
for me to get as much attention as possible.
Wait, what?
And then I dyed my hair blue. Keep up. I dyed my hair blue. And I got a bunch of tattoos. And I got louder. And then I was just like...
that all tracks.
And then I was just like, these are my two best friends, but look
Where's
at
the
me.
lie?
I mean,
Like
this
a little bit, though.
it's kind of feeling like my personal story.
Well, you don't
So
want to
who
be
dies
young.
at the end?
I know, I'm the bad one. I'm admitting to being the bad one.
Okay, so Ji-young had resented Ji-hi's presence from the beginning.
Oh God.
So after
Oh, God.
after Sharp disbanded, Lee Ji-hi went on to have a successful solo career. Unlike Ji-young.
Which one am I?
You're
Yeah, which one
Ji-young.
is she? Oh, okay.
Okay, well,
She's the young one.
changing the
In
narrative on that, but
2017, she appeared on an she appeared on an episode of a TV show called Human Documentary and opened up about her painful experiences in Sharp. She described how So Ji-young had relentlessly physically and verbally bullied her until the situation had become so untenable that the management company had forced them to pull the plug on the successful group. So that is how
Yeah.
fucking bad it was. That like they had 4 hit albums.
Not worth
Everything was, and the management company was like, never
Nope.
mind. These
Pulling the
bitches are
plug.
gonna kill each other. So just,
Y'all
gotta
are rabid.
so it's done.
You're
It's
fucking
over.
feral. I
How often
can't.
do you think WME is having this conversation about us? I imagine
Marcus
their
is
office.
like, they're fucking feral. I can't. They're
Our
unruly.
office
I
has a
can't.
desk with like our logo under a big red button, and every day they're just like, "Is this the day? Is this
Or
it?"
they have the countdown. It's like however many days without like a domestic dispute.
Never.
It's like
0 days. I'm sending all of our team at WME a big red button. I'm going,
They've never been involved in any of our disputes.
No,
We keep
not
that
yet.
shit locked down. It's like prison.
no, they're all internal. You're right. We should each of the 3 of us should have one in our office. How many
Listen,
days without just like a bitchy?
I'm
up and-
ordering 25 bulk red buttons, and the one's going to our lawyer, one's going to our accountant, there's a bunch going to WME, and
How many days since I've been
we get the rest.
fucking irritated by the wine and crime gals? That was the weird noise that was happening in my microphone before we
Listen,
recorded.
every time we do an episode, we've been doing this for 5 years. Every time we do an episode, there's a mysterious new tech problem that we've never encountered before. And this past today, it was bird chirping
An
slash
hour and a half of tech problems.
hours, literal birds slash some sort of Halloween.
Corporate
Presents.
fire alarm.
It was in the background of Lucy's audio, and that we had to troubleshoot forever, and now I'm just hammered.
Okay. So
We're drunk. Anyway,
I'm
let's
almost
keep going.
done. I'm almost done. So at the time, Ji-hi said she felt that she had no choice but to endure the bullying for fear of losing her chance at a successful career in the industry. And again, remember, Ji-young was the one who had the connections and the parents and the whole thing.
Yes.
So as a result of Ji-young's more powerful position in the industry, Ji-hi was effectively ostracized from the group. She recalled on Human Documentary that, quote, I even rode in a separate car.
Oh.
Well, we get separate hotel rooms.
I was a
get
member of Sharp, yet I was always alone. So the
Lucky.
other 4... Look.
Look. I love you both. But you know where I'm coming from.
The other 4 members of the band would ride in like a limo together to like different
That's fine. I'd be fine with that.
And T.I. had to consistently ride in her own car because she couldn't be around Ji-young.
Limo.
It's the
Wow.
most
I'm so
Lucy-
sorry.
It's the most Lucy thing It's the most.
Look.
It's the most Lucy thing I've ever fucking heard.
So Jung Suk-kyun, another member of the group's original lineup, so one of the original guys, also appeared on the episode to back up Ji-hai. He described how, also fearful of losing fame and fortune, he had repeatedly asked Ji-hai to endure the bullying for the sake of keeping Sharp together.
Yeah,
Quote,
just hang in there, I
just
guess.
deal with it, because I want a
I
career.
need money. Yeah.
Quote, she went through a lot. Only Lee Ji-hai could have endured that. If she hadn't, the group would have disbanded much earlier. So she went through like
it's
4
not that
years
hard.
of this.
That's a lot.
It's fine.
You had your own limo. Relax.
You get your own limo, your own hotel. Fuck.
Lucy's
You're
jealous.
living the dream.
Lucy's so
Ji-hai.
jealous of Ji-hai.
Lucy wants her own green room.
Poor thing.
can you imagine?
Poor Ji-hai.
So Jung Suk-kyun also claimed that in 2013 he had gotten all of the former members of Sharp together to discuss the past and resolve
it's a bad
any-
idea. Did you learn nothing from the parking pass of 2004? Did you learn nothing?
and resolve any lingering resentment.
Spoiler alert. Not
it's called
gonna
a
be
quarterly
resolved.
meeting.
Our last
It
one
happens
was
once
a year ago.
year.
I told Zach's boss that. I was like, I don't know. You guys have a lot of meetings. We have a quarterly meeting and we have it once a year.
And it's fine. No one gets anxious about it beforehand at all.
Anyway, so
I have perished. I have perished.
So Lee Ji-hai confirmed this, stating that she had spoken and forgiven Ji Young.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet.
And Ji Young responded by being like, bitch, what? I never apologize. No, I don't know. I'm assuming.
We're a
However,
mess right now.
however, this story of reconciliation was potentially contradicted by another incident that received coverage in South Korean tabloids. When Lee Ji-hai was briefly hospitalized for exhaustion due to a grueling recording and performance schedule back in the day, Ji Young reportedly visited and dropped off a bouquet of chrysanthemums.
But didn't stick around for her to like be awake.
No. There's symbolism. It's Korea.
Oh, God.
According to some sources, chrysanthemums are strongly associated with the dead and funerals and should never be given to the living.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am ordering you both a bouquet of chrysanthemums
that
right
Is
now.
my case.
Yeah.
Welcome, chrysanthemum. First of all, they're beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Second
Second of all, I can't wait to listen to this episode and experience it for the first time because I have never been so drunk in my life.
I love how askew your glasses are.
Are they
they're
all?
not straight. They're not
Fuck it.
off.
Who cares?
So that's my case. Should we hear
It's
Shit.
I'm sure it was amazing. Are you ready for? Are my glasses straight?
Are
My case?
you ready for your case?
No. Are you kidding? No. Oh my God, you guys! I'm like scared. Okay, here
You're
we go.
fine. Do it.
No, I'm so good at this. It's fine. Okay.
I know you're scared because the fan picker chose this case and said that it was
That's
a
not
little
true.
bit dark.
Wait.
Did we not do the fanfic?
Oh, no.
Yep, you were supposed to do the. Oh, no.
So I am going to get it there, but I'm not going to get it there today because I fucked up very deeply.
Well-
This is the first time I've ever done this.
You're realizing this in real time, people. Love
Right
it.
now on the air. This is the air we're on. And I'm going to tell you right now, my case is a disappointment. So I'm so sorry. And I am going to contact you when I am sober and arrange.
Amanda will be emailing you directly, Katie Nash.
I am going to arrange a make good, and you are going to get like a twofer. So I don't know. I think it's a win-win-win-win-win.
Oh.
And
All
now
right.
we're going to move
Take it
forward
away.
with what I wrote several hours ago because I have no capacity to do anything else. Okay. Wow. So this isn't so much a K-pop crime because I misunderstood and ignored the assignment as a K-pop scandal. But a lot of K-pop crimes I found, and hopefully Kate is not one of these, were just kind of sad charges for like smoking.
Yeah, there's a lot of like spitting bubble gum on the sidewalk
Right?
crime.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
underage drinking, which check.
Mm-hmm.
And drinking and driving, which is a
That's
crime.
They're
So
very,
I wanted
a very conservative culture.
Yes. So I wanted to go in a different direction that Kenyon went in and wasn't the direction that the fan picker sent me in at all. Because I am a bad person and bad at my job. Today I'm going to be talking about the now defunct girl group Sistar.
Oh no.
Ooh,
And a couple of
Sistar.
specific scandalous members, first of whom is Kim Da-som.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To set the tone, I want to pay homage to a huge part of the K-pop fandom, Fanfiction.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Are there books and stuff written?
Oh,
about-
they
Fan
aren't-
fiction is
like
not unique
fanfic.
to K-pop, is it?
No, I
It's
didn't
a
say
part
it
of it.
was. I said
Oh,
it
okay.
was a huge part of the K-pop fandom.
Okay.
The word unique has not come into play here. I may be drunk, but I know when I say unique. Unique New York. The amount of fanfic out there for really any fandom. Like when I was reading Animorphs, a friend sent me an Animorph Harry Potter crossover fanfic.
No,
That's
I can't.
awesome.
No,
I like that.
no.
It was bonks and extremely long. I could not get through it. Like the Harry
Like
Potter
longer
books,
than a Harry Potter book.
it felt longer.
no.
I
That's
could not get through
repulsive.
it.
I
they
can't.
They get so detailed.
No, I can't.
So this one's also long, but I'm going to read you just a portion
Mm-hmm.
of a Da-som fanfic by user XX book_lover XX entitled, I Like That.
What's Da-som?
That's one
The
of the
person
K-pop group
in
people that I'm talking
Sistar.
about today. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Keep up.
Was I supposed to know that?
Yes,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I said it at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
And then, okay, so the other person in this fanfic is a co-star of Sistar.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the beginning of part 1. Book lover. Here we go. Hyalin watches closely as Da-som leaves her to walk into the party. She can see how the men's eyes seem to devour her whole, and her mind seems to still. Perhaps it would go unnoticed if she simply disposed of them right now. But Da-som would kill her if she figured out that Hyalin had taken some lives for the sole reason of them looking at Da-som.
Oh, taking lives? Is it like vampire shit?
Like murder shit. But then, Hyalin has never valued human lives in general as much as she does. She settles for just a glare at the men, to which they look away, obviously uncomfortable. She truly despised letting people go as easily as that. However, Da-som wouldn't have it if she killed people, quote, without reason. Through an upper window, Hyolyn could see her pass by just as well as she could see the people around staring. Rage boiled inside of her, although she didn't dare let it be visible. A window farther up revealed the man they were looking for, snorting some drug.
Some drug.
Some drug. Da-som would have to touch that.
I know a lot about some drugs.
Drug.
I mean, how many drugs could you possibly snort?
Actually, kind of a lot. Disgust
six or
curled
eight.
around in her chest. The man didn't deserve even the most disgusting woman in the world, and yet here he was, getting the most beautiful. His head snapped up, and Hyolyn assumed that he had finally reached his room. Being seated in the car became more and more unappealing as Da-som wound her hand through his hair and pressed her lips to his. She could see the twitch of her hand and the slight grimace on her face behind his head as she smelled and tasted the drug he had been using only moments ago. Da-som,
The drug.
Da-som led him out of the building. She did so slowly, ever so careful with her actions. 1 second they were in the bedroom, the next she had led him out and over to a corner of the floor below them. Hyolyn could only see the process from the windows of the house. It infuriated her how the man was taking advantage of Da-som. He had the world at his fingertips, and yet he was pulling at its hair and ruining its lips.
A lot of hair pulling. I think also Hyolyn might have some unresolved feelings for Da-som.
I think the writer of Hyolyn's perspective might have some unresolved feelings for Da-som.
Are you reading this whole thing?
No, I'm about to stop,
Okay,
but just a
good.
tiny bit more. I know, it's rough, but it's worth
It's
it.
a lot.
Eventually, Da-som managed to lead the man outside. He had looked up for a moment upon realizing that they were outside, but the look of teasing playfulness on Da-som's face
Whoa.
had seemingly convinced him to ignore it. Hyolyn finally stepped out of the car as the man stumbled into an alley after Da-som. She struck her gun. Oh, no. She stuck her gun in one side of her waistband and a knife in the other. Her footsteps landed softly on the concrete as she strode into the alley. There, pressed up against the wall, was Da-som. Oh, yes, she would enjoy this one.
So Da-som
killed him.
is luring the man to the alleyway so her friend will kill him?
Boom.
Wow. Fan fiction, man.
That goes
good.
on for pages,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm stopping.
He screeches in pain as a great joy to her. Quote, my God, just go get me some Cheetos. She
She
threw a
opened the
pillow.
link. Lucy opened the link.
I opened the link.
But just
Never
God,
opened the link.
Just go get me some Cheetos.
I mean, same.
I mean,
So
honestly,
now-
yeah.
That your whistles are properly wetted.
Ew.
Let's get into this scandal. And given the amount of thirsty K-pop fans and the potential for epic fanfic that could come out of this, well, I have no follow-up for that, but who knows? I thought this story was worthy of K-pop crimes and ignored the assignment that I was supposed to cover, but I promise to cover it, and I am deeply sorry forever. Kim Da-som was born May 6th, 1993, which is literally painful to read.
Oh, no.
And better known as just Da-som. She is a South Korean singer and actress who is best known as the youngest member of South Korean girl group Sistar, which was under Starship Entertainment.
I see what they did there.
Like Starship, Star, Sistar. Mm-hmm. These K-pop groups, and we've covered this, I burped, today, as well as in our Boy Band Crimes episode, they have a very closely curated image and expectations of behavior. They work very hard with teams of people to maintain a balance of innocence and approachability with veiled, like, sexy stardom. So it's like it's like a tightrope walk.
You can date me, whatever. Like,
but also you can't, because that would ruin the image, you know?
I know, but the image is you can date me, you can have me, whatever.
That, like, availability, but also like chaste. I don't know how they do it. That seems like a huge burden to bear. So when a scandal is revealed to break or tarnish that image, it's a huge fucking deal, as Kenyon got to in her segment. And there are certainly people out there who either want to tarnish those reputations, like, intentionally, just out of malice, or who simply knew these people, these stars, before they were stars, and call out the fact that their new personas are bullshit.
Yeah, this person is not who you think they are.
No.
Not great.
No.
So this is more or less what happened with 17-year-old Da-som and her bandmate Hyolyn. Sistar was a new and relatively unknown addition to the K-pop zeitgeist when they were featured in Korean fashion magazine Sesi. Shortly after they became a bigger name, stories of the members as, like, school children started popping up all over the internet in the comments section of any new reporting on this group. People would go to the comments and be like, I knew so-and-so and they were a huge useless bitch.
Imagine if people had access to reviews of us as school children.
You guys, I don't.
Those three
It's
need
too scary.
help.
That's too scary to think about, and I'm a little
it's
mad at you
gross.
for even saying.
I mean,
Yeah.
aside from
Fucking
us just
watch
being
your back.
aside from us being self-deprecating, it's fucking horrifying.
It's
Like,
scary.
it shouldn't happen. It's
Yeah.
gross.
No, everybody was hot garbage
Yeah.
in their teen and early 20s. It's just, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I
So-
mean, and at any age,
Yeah.
honestly, prior to you being 18, if not 21, should
Oh my
be
God,
kept
25.
completely
25.
private. But
25
legally,
and under should be expunged from
but
history.
legally,
Yeah.
it's 18
right.
or 21. So at least it should be those ages.
Listen, we're fucked.
Totally anonymous.
We're fucked.
Leave
We're
them
fucked.
alone.
This will be our last episode. We're
Oh my
fucked.
God.
That's a lie. It's not. We
We're
need to pay our
slinking
mortgages.
back into anonymity.
Ideally, it would be like 28 and above.
Listen, A, I like attention. B, I can't wait tables again. So we gotta keep going. I can't go back, you guys. I can't go back. Can't
It's
fucking
too
go
late.
back.
It's too late.
My life is
It's
in
too
your
late.
hands. My life is in your hands.
It's too late.
So here's what
I'm
my life is in
mostly
your hands.
dead.
Here's what some folks were saying of Da-som. And yes, there is a lot of misogyny and shaming in these comments. This is an internet comment section. It's gonna be trash.
Oh no.
Trigger warning. Quote. I'm really speechless as to what possessed this clueless girl to become a singer. Drinking and smoking were just the basics. She dated a lot of guys.
Oh my God.
Even if they were just friends, she'd hug them and cling onto their arm.
Oh.
If another kid said anything about her, she'd call them over. Okay, this is where it gets bad. She'd call them over and she would hit them, dust her cigarette ash into the air, make the kid catch her cigarette ash in their hands, spit into their shoes, clothing, hair, and bag.
What?
Then, after she put something like a plastic bag over the kid's head who had defamed her, she began to hit the kid, and her friends hit the kid with their palms. But Da-som told them to use their fists since their palms would get swollen. She told them to hit the kid in the mouth so that their teeth fell out.
So don't slap, punch.
Don't slap,
Got
punch. She hit their eyes and nose, and she told her friends to hit them in the ear so they'd go deaf.
Ugh.
Ow. Oh, ow.
Ooh.
She also gathered her guy friends when she was beating a kid. This is another quote. Sistar was originally supposed to debut, but to debut in April, but Kim Da-som couldn't kick her smoking, so they pushed their debut to June.
So these are just randos on the
These are
internet leaving
comments.
comments.
Correct.
Could not be corroborated.
Correct. Quote, before she debuted, Da-som nagged and cursed out the kids that she didn't like. But when her debut was confirmed, she completely changed her attitude.
Well, yeah, she's a professional.
She's in the public eye. I like it.
Well, what of this is true?
I'm going to give you a spoiler.
Okay.
We don't know, and we're never going to know.
Oh, okay.
Quote, when she was a high school freshman, she did her eyes and her nose. I think that means like plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And she covered
did
her
eyes
face
and her nose.
in preparation for her debut.
I mean, yeah, a lot of
That's
people
what
do.
I want everyone to
Hi,
say
Botox,
about me
my
before
whole
our
face.
25th year reunion.
Listen, my
Wow.
whole
She
face.
did her eyes. and
She's
her
had a
nose.
lot of work done.
in preparation
wish.
for her debut.
If the one thing people take away from our, because we're the same grad year, 25th high school reunion is that I had a lot of work done. I will have achieved everything I ever
mountaintop.
wanted to achieve.
High school.
That's the peak.
Oh,
I'm
it's my high
literally-
school work.
I'm
My
literally
25th high school reunion.
I am too lazy and poor to get a lot of work done.
No,
but I
if
want it.
Botox,
You're
if
the-
Botox on a discount for my birthday is a lot of work done, then you can go fuck yourself.
You're the witch from Death Becomes Her.
Yeah,
With all the shirtless
I'd
men.
love it. Are you kidding?
I'm fucking here for it.
If only.
So, continuing on the case I was never supposed to cover.
ageless you.
Yo! From here, rumors spread that Da-som was part of a school gang referred to as Iljin. From soulbeats.com, Iljin is a tough word to define in exact terms. Formerly reserved exclusively for gangsters or members of the mafia, it was used to refer to the first round of fighters or a group's best fighters. It literally translates to first team. Nowadays, it is used more frequently to refer to a school's bad kids, quote unquote, the ones that are constantly disrupting class, check, getting in trouble, check,
Jack.
ditching school, check,
Check.
smoking, check,
Check.
drinking, check,
Jack.
and or engaging in sexual activity,
Jack.
fucking check. So I'll never be in a K-pop group
So
for multiple
you
reasons.
are
Iljin.
I was
Iljean.
I was not Iljean.
No, you were not.
Amanda was Iljin.
I was
wasn't
the embodiment of Iljin.
I was Billy.
She
Jean.
was Iljin.
Billie Jean was not my lover.
Billie Jean.
In 2015, several members of the group gave interviews explaining that they are misunderstood and that these rumors were unsubstantiated about the bullying.
Okay.
They also tried to squash rumors that they were bullying each other based on fan reactions to playful comments or even facial expressions that they deemed worrisome. This is an excerpt from one of their interviews. Quote, Soyu explains that sometimes their fans misunderstand them because they always use big gestures when they talk. She recounts one time when their youngest member, Da-som, was telling them, you guys, but like imagine it in Korean. You guys, I think my body isn't as nice as yours. She was complaining like, quote, I want to look like you guys.
Okay.
Then Soyu and Hirelin reenact the scene with Soyu pretending to be Da-som. Hirelin shows how after Da-som had complained about her body, Hirelin gestured dramatically at her while yelling, but you're so pretty all over, including your face.
All right. Well, it sucks that like disparaging one's own body is how one bonds with fellow
I know.
females.
Is it not the most like
It's so true.
That's
It's
so
real.
true? It's like the scene in Mean Girls when they're like, "Oh, I hate my blah blah blah" in front of the mirror, and
My
that's how they're
nail
bonding.
beds.
Yeah.
Yeah, my eyelids are fat.
The whole thing makes me so sad. But the girls then imitate the face that Da-som was making after she said, like, my body doesn't look like yours, I want to look like you, which made some onlookers think that she was being bullied, but like neither Da-som or any of the other members of Sistar felt that way.
Okay.
Quote, because of our strong image, there's been a lot of times when we've been misunderstood, says Soyu. Hyolyn adds that it's really upsetting when people misunderstand us. So, I mean,
Sometimes people will put words in mouths and
Yes.
purposely misunderstand
I
things.
do feel like people hear and see what
they
they
want.
want to hear and see. And we've definitely experienced this to some degree. And obviously, we are not on even close to the same level of stardom as like a K-pop group. But if we experience that to some degree, I can't even fucking imagine what these children,
Have to go
literal
through.
children, have to go through.
Yeah. Be aware of what you're projecting onto people who are less hardened than we are.
Yeah. So soon the tide turned to band member Hyolyn when a former classmate from her middle school came forward about being, quote, bullied and tormented by Hyolyn. Quote, the accuser, who identified herself as a former classmate of Hyolyn, said she just felt disgusted whenever she saw the singer on TV. She described herself as a survivor of school bullying. She said, quote, to me, it's almost a miracle that I am still alive.
Oh.
Describing her school days as a nightmare, she alleged Hyolyn had bullied her for 3 years throughout middle school and that the bullying occurred at school as well as a playground near the family's home.
So I know that people could say all kinds of shit about me from middle school, but I also am confident nobody could say this. 'Cause
No.
I didn't bully anybody.
I bullied you.
Yeah, Amanda did bully me.
I bullied you.
Yeah.
Under influence from a third
And I
party.
feel like I was the only person you ever bullied.
Pretty much. Pretty
Yeah.
much. But you know what? It's the foundation of our relationship.
It's true.
Look at us now.
I would say, in the name of us owning all of our shit, I think that all of us probably bullied different people, whether we remember it or
Oh,
not.
absolutely.
So-
We're all capable of it. And in the name of defaming that third party, they are now desperately selling items for an MLM.
That's true. I feel
While
good. I feel good
we-
about my choices.
We have solidified our bonds, found a way to love each other through it all, and built a successful business. So, like, yes,
But
I
also-
bullied you.
Yes.
And we're thriving.
There are also things that we just like don't remember when we're
Oh
that
my
young,
God,
so-
100%.
And like what our friend Scott said
Blot.
upon re-meeting a bunch of people who we hadn't seen since elementary school, they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for X, Y, and Z." And we're like, "Well, what the fuck? I don't even remember that."
right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I
there's
think
things
it's
we
just-
don't remember.
It's so hard. I mean, obviously, in the context of just mundane reality, everybody's lived experience is
It's so different.
personalized.
Mhm.
Yeah, and therefore very different. And so I think it's possible to apologize and atone for impact while also maybe having a different idea of intent or remembering the situation differently.
I mean,
And
there's
we'll
no
also-
way that Blad Blitterson remembers hitting my face with a basketball in elementary
Right.
school.
But fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But if he wanted
like-
to apologize, I'd accept.
Right. Right. Exactly. And our DMs
Probably
are
not
open.
going to happen.
They're
But also,
open.
like, the things that you remember are not the things that other
No.
people remember.
There's no such
we
thing.
We can't talk about bullying and expect other people to remember the same things that we remember.
It's not all the same, and that is not to forgive
Excuse anything.
or
No.
excuse, and we'll kind of get to it. It's just a reminder of the complication
Of memory.
and we have talked about that a million times, how fucking like eyewitnesses are not even necessarily super reliable. It's a whole thing. And now with this, there's the added layer of complication of this
fame.
person being famous and wealthy while somebody else is not. And so we need to listen to and believe these stories and also have a healthy level of skepticism, because I think that is required in all aspects of our lives in every way, shape, and form. A healthy skepticism is always going to steer you in a decently right direction. You guys, I'm so drunk. We're almost at the end. Here we
We're
go.
cruising.
We're almost.
So her PR team, Da-som's and Hyolin's PR teams, acted quickly, releasing this statement. Quote, "We deeply regret the media coverage." This was Hyolin that was called out in this specific portion. "We deeply regret the media coverage because, oh my God.
Because.
Her allegation was reported without fact checking. What the alleged victim said was her own interpretation, and whether her description is true or not has not been proven." End quote. But despite trying to deny the allegations, a settlement of an unknown amount was made with the accuser out of court, so that no one, I think, will ever really know how much they paid this person to be like, let's not
just
talk about this anymore.
Just like a
Sign this thing.
just like a
Sign this BTS/NDA.
Bind, torture, sing.
Bind, torture, sing. So Sistar stayed active for 7 years before disbanding in 2020.
It's a good run.
It was a fucking real good run. And they disbanded so that members could pursue their own solo career paths. Allegations of bullying in K-pop groups is not new. Yoo Young-win, keyboardist for the boy group Janabi, was also accused of bullying former classmates before his rise to stardom. He admitted the allegations were true and quit the band.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they have a lot of receipts. If it's like, yep, I did it.
Okay,
I'm
I did
out.
it. I'm bye.
Yeah.
Another aspiring K-popper, Yoon So-bin, was on a reality TV audition show, Making the Band, to be in the next big K-pop band called Produce 101X.
Could have been Ashley Angel.
Could have been Ashley Angel. He was trying to be Ashley Angel. He ended up dropping out because of bullying allegations from former classmates, and his pending contract with JYP Entertainment was dissolved. Obviously, like I said before, bullying is a serious issue, and these stars are like literal children who leave school to pursue these careers that launch them suddenly into the public eye, which makes accountability swift and painful. So all that to say, both realities can be true, and they're just inflated times 10 because it's all in the tabloids. So I'm obviously not against school bullies seeing accountability. Like, I don't think bullying is okay. But I also a little bit feel for these kids who don't even get a chance to like reconcile who they are and grow and change and atone for their behavior before they have millions of eyes on them. So like all of it sucks.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
going to make sure that you're canceled for bullying me in middle school, Amanda.
I'm okay with, honestly, I'm ready to be canceled. I'm exhausted. My Botox is wearing off, so I like need to get out of the public eye.
Oh my God. Frankly, I'm exhausted
ready.
also.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm
For
on this
covering
campaign
from
with you.
you.
I support you. So, sociologist Kwok Dae-kyung was weighing in on this exact like situation and said that the K-pop trainee system is tough because it pulls kids out of school and makes it harder for them to learn good behavior and emotional regulation skills.
I'm sure.
Quote, once signing contracts with talent agencies, many aspiring singers or actors quit school to focus on training for their future careers, he said. So compared to ordinary people, people in show business have relatively fewer opportunities to learn decent behavior. So I think agencies need to pay extra attention to educate their artists, particularly minors and teenagers, end quote.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's such a competitive industry, and they're like, you know, it's like high octane competition, and then they're supposed to like not be competitive and like mean to other people. They see everybody as a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It's really
It's
fucking
a different
tough.
world that they're like being raised in, and they're not even being raised by their parents. It's like they're handlers.
It's
essentially.
it's a lot. It's a lot. So all that to say,
people are monsters.
all that to say, people are monsters. And Kate, I am Katie.
Listen, our fan picker, our special thanks this week to our fan picker,
sorry.
Katie Nash. We're really sorry, but also
It's
like
too late to go
Amanda
back.
owes you.
Amanda
I owe
owes
you,
you,
and
but
I will
also,
make
like,
good. I will make good.
Amanda Soju.
You guys, I'm so sorry. I can't.
We're gonna.
This has not ever happened to me.
It's bedtime now. I love you all so much. Goodbye.
Love you. See you next week. Bye.
I'm so sorry. Goodbye.